to give me some advice. Here's one thing we do know. Baylor Baseball is really struggling. They're 2-7 in the conference. They were swept by West Virginia. Owen opened up our chat today on 365 Sports with the Go Mountaineers. Baylor Baseball, of all of the sports right now, and softball's been okay. They're treading water. They had, 3 out of 4 themselves this past week. Every week, Craig does a good, the bad, and the ugly. And right now with baseball, it's really struggling. You got to wonder about where Steve Rodriguez is, where he's thinking, and where they are with that program. Nothing's going to happen right now, but I do know there's a lot of chatter right now with the baseball team and how much they've struggled this year as well, including what they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to know all the ins and outs, and I'm not going to, well, if they just had a second base, I'm not going to pretend to get into all those details. I know there's some on the board that have already, examined every, pitcher and position player and broken down why they're not exactly as good as people want them to be. I mean, certainly a big problem is their bullpen. The bullpen's been bad, just bottom line. So that's hurt them. But yeah, they're one game above 500, and here we are, and they have series coming up against Texas and Texas Tech and Oklahoma State, I believe, as well. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to be expected to win many of those games. So they're in a spot where the schedule's actually perhaps getting tougher, and they're running out of time, and I don't know what happens. I think I do know what happens. What happens is they don't go to the postseason. That's what happens, and I think at this stage – it's tough with a sport that's non-revenue. Like, how much do you really criticize it? You know what I mean? Like, how much, if the field isn't level, if it's not an even playing field, some schools have more advantages in terms of, like, baseball scholarships or what they're able to do and all of that. I know that Steve Rodriguez didn't have the full cupboard to play with. So, it's kind of tough to have that, and you have to keep that in mind. It's not just, hey, he's got a bunch of scholarships and he offers them and he's just not getting the guys. It's not like that. But, at the same time, for a school who is winning at a high level in pretty much everything right now, you can't, nobody's ever going to be perfect. Nobody's ever going to have every single one of their teams competing for national championships all at the same time. Something's going to give somewhere. But, when there is like sort of this standard, and they're, this many years in, and they're kind of not, they're just kind of paddling water, quite frankly, at, one game above 500 and coming off of a sweep against West Virginia. Yeah, I'm sure there are some people who are bigger baseball fans who are a little bit, I guess, annoyed. I don't know if that's the word, or a little bit upset maybe is a better word for the results that they've seen. So, yeah, I've seen some of that chatter, and, the baseball folks, the big fans, they're a little bit upset by the results this year and feel like it should be a bit better than it is. So, I'll leave it to those who pay a lot closer attention week in and week out to what exactly the reasons are and how fixable things are. Like, I know you can't fix the bullpen overnight. But I also know that's not the only real problem that they have, and to blame it on just that would be disingenuous. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we could get a barometer from Mac Rhodes, or that would be unfair to do, mid-season. But it's something to pay attention to and to see kind of how they close this season because, yeah, it has been a disappointment so far.
They went to the NCAA tournament in 19. There was no tournament in 20. They did not make it last year in 21. And this year they're above 500, but again, their Big 12 record overall is well under 500 with the meat of their schedule still to come. So that's just an update on that. And there is, just like there have been any time, and Craig's right about the success of the program across the board and how good they've been. So that's something. Mac Rhodes will join us tomorrow, by the way, on Sic'Em 365 Radio.